What's up, everyone, and welcome to Episode 7 of the Division GameCast. I'm your host, Boomslang, joined by my co-conspirator, Chivlet.
You got it right.
Yeah, I've been rehearsing that one for a while, actually. We have a special episode for you guys today because we have actually played the Division ourselves. Actually taken our hands, put it on a controller, and controlled someone in the game.
Grubby little mitts.
Because we went to E3.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise, surprise. So, just to kick off the show, we're going to talk a little bit about our experience to E3. Some of you might be wondering, what was it like to go to E3? What was it like to experience the madness in person? Chivlet, I want to hear your impressions. You've been to E3 before, but
yes.
What was this year like?
This year was hectic.
To say the least.
Oh my god, to say the least. There were incredibly long lines. Everything was choked up with people. By day 2, I was expecting there to be half the people that there were in day 1.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it just seemed like more people just came. It was just like there was just so many people. There were so many long lines. There was just it was hot. It was really hot.
Yeah. When we went to the Sony
knew.
press conference, that place was really hot. I was like, wow.
Sweltering.
Yeah, you were like dripping sweat. You looked pretty miserable. Are the lines normally like that? Because when he says lines that were crazy, we're talking about like 4-hour wait to go in and play Destiny, Taken King. It was like 2.5 hour, 3-hour wait to play the Division. On like the second day, we played it on the first day, and it was only like an hour and a half, which wasn't too bad, but still kind of ridiculous. Are lines normally like that?
Well, kind of, I guess. There's usually like one showstopper game that everybody wants to play.
Yeah.
Like last year, it was Destiny.
Right.
You know, so that one showstopper game generally has a pretty long line. I wouldn't say 4 to 5 hours. I would say that it was like an hour and a half ish.
Really?
Yeah. And like there was a big difference in how the security handled themselves this year than
they were
last
super
year.
strict. I couldn't believe like how strict they were. They're like, stop, let me see your ID. All right.
Yeah.
And they're like sitting there staring at my ID and my badge. I was like, good night.
Pulling out the UV lamp, you know, and crap like that. Yeah, that was pretty intense. That was something that I was not expecting at all. I wasn't expecting to go ahead and get kicked out super early.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to have like a security guard basically
escort you out. All right, it's closed. Get out.
Yeah, exactly. Especially not when I was like talking to one of the exhibitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually they're a lot more respectful of that, and like if you're talking to an exhibitor or you're talking to somebody that seems important, they just sort of let you alone.
Right.
You know? So you could just sit there and you could talk to them after hours, you know, help them around their booth or whatever it may be. But this year it was just like
they were Nazis. They were like, get out
you
right
need
now.
to leave.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't like that.
In fact, I heard a lot of stories from Bungie people where people were with exhibitor badges were trying to go get to their booths so that they can go to work, and the guards would stop them.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Didn't a couple of guys from the Division dev team too? I thought Craig said that he couldn't get back in.
One guy went out to go to the bathroom. The guard saw him go out to go to the bathroom, took 5 seconds to go pee, comes back, and at the door the guy stops him, tells him that he can't come in.
Wow. Yeah, so security was pretty tight. But when you say that there was like one showstopper this year, dude, it's like every single game had a 2-hour wait. The Division had a 2-hour wait. Rainbow Six, you know, had a
Mario
wait. Paper
or
Mario
Maker.
Battlefront had a absolutely insane line. Destiny had an insane line. One of the only games that I saw that didn't have a line that I expected him to have was Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Like, looking at that line, it wasn't that busy all the whole time. Like, the third day or whatever, there was like...
We can go into that a little
hardly
bit.
anybody there, which is kind of funny. But yeah, overall, it was, for me, you know, it was my first trip. It was all overwhelming at first, just being the first time in California, and just, I mean, it was kind of crazy, but it was a lot of fun being able to see all of the games announced in person and be able to see all the developers and all the people of importance like in person. And that was really cool. Meeting guys working on the Division and getting to hang out with them. I mean, every one of them was so cool and so nice just to sit and talk to us for hours about their game and how much they like working on it and how much they like the community and things like that. So that was one of the most memorable things and getting to see you in person too. That was pretty cool. But yeah, concerning the Division, what'd you think?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I think it was a lot of fun.
Obviously, there were some things in the game that weren't in the game because it was a demo.
Right.
Which, there was a little bit of backlash, with GameSpot's, by the way, opinion column about their first impressions of the game.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't read it, but apparently they did not expect it to be an RPG. Is that kind of like the gist I got?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing that frustrates me. Why go in and play a game you've never even heard of before and then come out and give a poor review or a poor impressions on it because you did not expect it to be what you expected it to be? I mean, seriously, these people need to get real, get with the program. I don't understand why you would do that.
No, I agree 100%. Because, generally, you're a reporter, right? I mean,
right.
And, admittedly, they did their job. Okay? They walked in, they reported what they saw objectively, right? But you're a reporter, right? And you have this little sheet of paper, and on the sheet of paper it says bombing in Bosnia.
Right.
Right? And then you go out to go see this bombing in Bosnia, right? And you're like, well, I didn't know that there were going to be people dead.
Yeah. Yeah, the things don't make sense exactly. They have this sheet, and they go in and look at it. It's like, shooter, this, whatever. They don't get the RPG.
I didn't know that it was going to be a third-person RPG.
Yeah.
I just didn't. It just didn't jive with me. I didn't even think that was going to be a possible. That's what they that's what they established the brand as. That's
really?
what they said it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And
yeah, well, you got to go in with the right impressions of it. Like when I went in and played it, I think we went in there because we know what this game is all about. That's the reason we could have so much fun with it. Like I went in knowing it was an RPG, knowing it was a third-person shooter, and knowing it was supposed to be played as a team. Well, not supposed to, but it was heavily played better as a team. And so it was me, you, and Tinks went in and just wrecked face because that's how the game was meant to be played. And the communication and everything was there. And I just feel like the overall gameplay experience, my first impressions of it was amazing. Like I had so much fun in that 20-minute demo that we got to play compared to a ton of other games that I've played before. So I think if it keeps going the way it's going, I've said this multiple times, but it's going to be really special if they keep the momentum that they have right now with the gameplay and stuff. So what did you like about the demo when you first got a hold of it and we all got in there and started playing? Like what kind of impressed you first?
Honestly, the controls.
Yeah.
The controls.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
I wouldn't I don't play on an Xbox One. So,
right.
I'm not used to an Xbox One controller. I mean, I have an Xbox 360, I have an Xbox 360 controller.
Right.
I have that whole thing, so I'm familiar with the ergonomics behind it. But the part that really impressed me was how well it played on the Xbox 360 controller. Granted, I would rather have a PlayStation or Xbox One controller. I would rather have a PlayStation 4 controller in my hand.
Right.
But it played really well.
Yeah. It was so fluid. I felt like I had total control. Normally, a third person, I played the last Tom Clancy was a Ghost Recon game, and it's been a long time since I played a Tom Clancy, but it was Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 or something like that. And that game might be a bad one to compare it to, but it felt so clunky as a third-person shooter. I mean, it was still fun. I still enjoyed the game, but the controls, it was really sluggish. I didn't feel like I had that much control over my guy. And the Division was total opposite. I mean, it was quick, responsive, snappy, intuitive. Everything about it, it was just perfect almost. Like you could run up and take cover and it worked. You could pop out, dive into cover and it worked. You could move around and it didn't take a whole lot of time to do that. Like it was really quick. It wasn't like, all right, you got a 3-second animation to climb over this wall. It was, all right, you're over the wall, now go. That was the best part about it to me.
Yeah, I thought that one of the best parts was that it didn't feel like an animation.
Right.
Like when you're mantling over the thing, like I felt like you can cancel that mantle.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times where I did. A lot of times where, you know, grabbing the controller for the first time and pressing the wrong button, you know, whatever, learning curve, pressing the wrong button and my dude's mantling over the thing as opposed to like hiding, going behind cover, I felt as if I could cancel that animation.
Yeah.
And get back behind cover. I felt like you said, that I was 100% in control of my character.
Yeah, that was the best part about it, because there's that one point where we were coming up on the cleaners and I wanted to take cover and instead I jumped up on top of this crate. I was like, oh shoot. But like as soon as I tapped the button, I was pulling back on my analog stick, and within like 2 seconds my guy was back down on the ground. And I feel like in other games you would have to climb up there, he would get up, finish the animation, then you could turn around and jump back down. But instead it was just like I was done. You know, I was back down on the ground. They never saw me, and that was the coolest part to me. You know, just an example of how well it controlled. I have a couple more examples, but you can continue talking about your experience.
Well, that's the number one thing that stood out for me was the controls.
Yeah.
The second thing that stood out for me was how responsive the weapons felt. How they each weapon had its own personality.
Yeah, they felt like real guns.
Yeah, it really translated through. Like I don't know, between that controller, the way that Xbox One controller felt, and those headsets from the Destiny booth, where, you know, I mean, I know that there were just PS Gold headsets, but like they, for some reason, the sound was just incredible.
Yeah, the guns had a really good punchy sound to them.
Yeah. So like between that and that, like when I was firing my shotgun, I felt the kick on the controller. I felt the impact. I saw the impact on the guy's health bar, because like literally I could drop an enemy in one shot if I ran up, put my shotgun to the dude's head and blew it off, you know? Like I mean, like that felt real and that felt powerful.
Right. Well, that's the same way I felt with the DMR, which was my favorite gun because it did so much damage. Like it was I think it was probably an M14. I think that's I think it might have been an M14. But yeah, just pulling it up and pulling the trigger. I mean, it felt like it was powerful, you know. And I couldn't just pull the trigger over and over and over and just shoot as fast as I want. I had to take my shots like with precision, because if you just pull the trigger, then it would. The reticle would like spread out so far that you wouldn't even hit anything. So it was cool that kind of realism. Like you can't just pull up like whatever caliber it is. It's like 7.62 NATO or something like that, or 30-06. You can't just sit there and shoot that gun over and over and over and stay accurate. And it just sounded so good. I mean, all the guns are so cool. And eventually I ran out of ammo and had to switch to my machine pistol. And even that gun still did the right amount of damage in the scenario that I thought it should. I didn't feel totally useless. Like, all right, I'm out of ammo, switch to machine pistol. I still killed 2 or 3 guys just with that. Plus, your skills help you out too. So.
Oh yeah, the skills are a huge benefit. Absolutely huge benefit. I mean, obviously the utilitarian use of pulse was just off the charts. But then you have your turret, your little micro turret that you can set up, that because I was playing as the tank. Yeah. So like my mentality and my mindset was run in there, take a shitload of shots. There's gonna be heals on me, right. And then my DPS, being you, is gonna go ahead and be able to take pot shots at these dudes, and not be under fire. Right.
That was the cool thing, because when I saw you running in, I would start DPSing all the guys around you, because I knew that it would distract them and you could go in and kill those guys. And by the time I had their damage down a little bit, either you would kill them or Tinks would kill them or I would kill them. Like, I think that's why we worked so well as a cohesive group, because we played it the way it was supposed to be played, basically.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
skills were
and
definitely a plus though, because I had the sticky bomb and the seeker mine the first time. That was really cool. Like, I did not know that you could throw the seeker mine. I held the button down because I thought it was like a grenade, just playing around with it, and my guy pulled back and it showed the little radius marker and the little arc showing where it was gonna land. I was like, whoa, I did not know I could throw this thing. And then I like looked at a couple of the guys and tagged them, and then threw it, and it hit the ground and started chasing them. I was like, dang, that's pretty sweet. So now you don't have to like just set it on the ground. You can throw it at these people. And the sticky bomb, I didn't get to play around with it enough, but I feel like that could be a lot of fun. Sticking it to people, sticking it to whatever, and setting traps and stuff.
Yeah, maybe like the tank runs in, pulls the aggro, runs behind cover. You've already thrown down a sticky bomb, then the enemies run up and boom.
Right. Yeah. Well, the gameplay opportunities with this are so crazy because it is so tactical. Like, there is, an awareness with the enemies of where you are, and there is that aggro system. That it's going to be really unique compared to what like Destiny that we play right now, as a group and as a clan. That it's so different but so similar. It's similar in the team play aspects, but so much more. Like, Destiny is fun, but this game you're gonna have to think about when you go in and kill these people, instead of, oh, this is just grind it out, shoot these guys over and over, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are actually going to be a challenge, and yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's really fun. So, but going back to the controls, aiming the weapon too felt really good. Like, everything, I just can't stress enough how smooth it felt to control these characters. Like, the aiming was smooth, the walking around was smooth, and it just made it that much more enjoyable. I never realized that having controls like that would basically make the game,
Mm-hmm.
And it really is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it felt like, in a lot of times, like, I mean, keep in mind, we were when we walked into that booth for the first time, like, all three of us were amped. Like,
oh yeah,
all three
definitely.
of us, we were just ready to go. So, like, Craig sets us up. We sit behind our controllers, and we're just ready to go. And he's trying to explain the game.
Adrenaline pumping. We're just like, let's go. Just let us go.
He's just trying to explain the game, and we literally just go run straight into the dark zone and start murdering people. And it's just like, it felt like, at that moment, like, I didn't really get to experience the game, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they don't let you really experience it, because I feel like if we had extended time to play it other than just those 20-minute sections, we would have gone out and explored the world and done everything that we possibly could have in that 20-minute demo. But they didn't want us to, which is pretty obvious when you pulled up the inventory. They're like, no, don't look at that. Put that away. No,
when I was pulling up the inventory and I was pulling up all that other stuff,
yeah.
But honestly, like, it was so such a visceral experience. It felt good to play that game. It felt as if like I had been wasting my time on other games.
Right. Well, it was very rewarding too. I mean, when you go in, you kill all the enemies. I know a lot of people complained about the time to kill, because it did take a decent amount of shots to kill people, but it didn't feel like it was too many. I mean, with my DMR, I was killing them with 3 to 4 headshots and like 10 body shots. It didn't seem like it was that bad. And I mean, maybe it's different with other guns, but I mean, I couldn't really find anything to complain. I mean, but another reason, I mean, that's why I went in there expecting it to play like an RPG, and an RPG, enemies do take a few more bullets to kill. I didn't go in there expecting it to be Rainbow Six. Let's put it that way. I don't want to go in there and kill these guys in one shot. And I know we talked about this on a past podcast about the times to kill and stuff, and how we wanted it to be more realistic. But now that I've actually played it and I've experienced it, I kind of like it the way it is, because it makes it feel more like an RPG instead of a straight up shooter.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. Like, I run up to a cleaner elite, right? I put my shotgun directly onto this guy's forehead. He's down. Like, there wasn't a struggle. It wasn't like I needed to do much. Like, that, that was the one shot, one kill sort
right.
of situation,
well, that's what you expect
right?
to happen too. For me, it would take probably four shots to take their armor down, and then like 4 more shots to kill them, which wasn't. Which I was like, that's fine. These guys are supposed to be difficult.
Yeah, but the way that it was meant to be played, the way that, because I didn't stick my shotgun on these guys' foreheads every single time.
Right.
Like, the way that it was meant to be played was, that was an elite enemy. So we planned it out. We say, boom, go right. Tinks, cover left. I'm going to go straight up this alley, and we're going to go ahead and engage this dude. So instead of running straight up on the guy and, engaging him immediately, like, I would put a couple shots in him and expect you to be going ahead and attacking him.
Right.
I would expect Tinks to be throwing heals. I would expect that sort of RPG element in the game. So I didn't care, really, how long it took to kill the guy, so to speak. Because...
Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't care how long it took to kill the guy, because it was more of a... What's the word I'm looking for? It was more of that RPG experience. I mean, look at the way that if you play any other MMO or if you play any other RPG, you look at the way that the enemy interacts with you. Right? And usually they interact by standing there and then they get hit.
Yeah.
Over.
Right.
over again. Right? But they just stand still.
Yeah.
Right? This is a responsive enemy. This is an enemy that is
the AI was really good. The AI was really cool. They actually acted like real humans.
Yeah, in an RPG, this guy's going to go ahead and he's going to try to run for cover, or he's going to try to flag his friends, or whatever it may be. So, he's taking a bunch of shots, and it's in that sort of RPG environment where, you're still having to do all that stuff to kill the guy that you would normally be doing for a, push-button MMO or something like that. But the enemy is responding to you.
Right.
It's not just standing there, getting hit.
Yeah, like you would, even when you fired at them, even if you didn't hit them, they would react and then run for cover. And then it made it super hard. Or not super hard, but a lot more difficult, because they would be behind cover and peeking out, and stuff. And you would have to pick your headshots. Like, even the Rikers in the very beginning of the demo, which were the easiest ones, were annoying to fight, because as soon as the firefight started, they just scattered, and one was hiding behind a car, one was hiding behind a box, and it was even hard to find them until you guys sent out a pulse scan, and then I was like, oh, there's one. I'm gonna go grab, take him out. So that's another interesting point in the demo, was how smart the AI actually was, and I think that makes them a lot more fun to fight, because not only are you thinking about how to engage them, but they're technically thinking as well about what's going on around them.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
So, but if you played it with one person, how do you think, like, if you went in there solo, do you think it would be frustrating, like the time to kill and things like that? Because I was been thinking about this myself. We went in there, with 3 people, and it was challenging, but it wasn't impossible. And then the Dark Zone, it was like, get out the way, we're gonna kill everybody. If you went in there with one person, what do you think it would be like? Just like, say I'm playing, all right, I'm gonna go jump in a Dark Zone, try to get some loot. Unless, like, because people will come in there and kill you. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, well, let's put it in this perspective, because I'm gonna go ahead and call upon my powers of WoW again.
Yeah.
Okay. In WoW, when you're soloing stuff, you could solo mobs that are of your level.
Right.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Hunters are a great example of how they can pull a mob and then they can DPS it down and kill it by themselves. That type of thing. But very rarely do you engage an elite
By yourself.
By yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely do you engage an elite of your level 1 or 2 levels higher. Very, very rarely. I mean, you have to be geared to go ahead and expect to win,
Right.
right? Like, in World of Warcraft, during Cataclysm, hunters used to go inside of the Firelands, and they would solo the trash to go ahead and get BOE drops, right?
Yeah.
Death Knights used to do the same thing because they had Death Coil, which was an ability that would allow them to heal themselves. And, but, like, those guys were geared. Those guys were
they're prepped for it.
experienced.
They knew what they were doing, basically.
Exactly. So if I was a level 12, let's just assume that I was a level 12 and I was going into the Dark Zone, I would think twice about engaging a level 12 elite.
Yeah.
And I would not at all be offended that I can't kill something that's on my level when it's elite.
Right.
If
Without
I
being
don't feel,
overrun.
Yeah. If I don't feel prepared or geared enough, then I'm not going to engage.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of going about it.
So as far as like kill times go as a single player, I think that the elites that are of your level that you go out you go to kill and stuff like that, I think that those elites, you know, are meant for team play.
Right.
And if you're level 12 and you see a level 12 elite, you go and you run around and you get to like level 16, get a little bit more gear, and then come back and kill those level 12s.
Right.
You know? I mean, and that would make sense, especially with gear progression, because generally, if you kill something that's supposed to be like a level 12 elite, or if you go into a dungeon and you get dungeon gear in World of Warcraft, right? That gear is supposed to last you, you know, X number of levels.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's supposed to be relevant to X number of levels.
Right.
Right? So if you go in solo and you engage those enemies, you still get that gear that's supposed to be relevant to X number of levels, right? At that level. So like say you know these elites have something that drops off of them like a level 16 sniper rifle or something, right? I'm level 16, I go and I kill them, I get a relevant piece of gear because I'm doing it solo. Whereas if I had the investment of the coordination, the teamwork, the friends, and the time to go ahead and do this, like I could get it earlier.
Right.
I think that that's fair.
Yeah. I think it'd be good if you did say go in there as a level 12. I think it should be challenging to kill like all these guys, but you would have to strategically plan out pretty much every guy you were going to kill. Like say like when we went in there and there was like 5 cleaners. I feel like if you went in there and you just engaged them head on, no way would you kill all of them. Like you would just be destroyed. I think it would be good if you did reward those people though that like use skill to just set traps and maybe snipe these guys from far away and be able to do that. I think that would be probably the best way to go about it. Another thing though that I was wondering, how is this going to work with other squads in the Dark Zone of 2 or any more? Because when you're playing as one person, you're at such a disadvantage. Like, do you think it would even be worth going into the Dark Zone and trying to extract loot by yourself?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you think that the reputation system is going to... Do you think that's really going to discourage people from killing everyone?
Well, I mean, when I heard about it, I got discouraged, and I'm the first one to light people up.
I know. We were sitting there talking. We were like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you every single time. And then they say, hey, you're going to have a rank, and the lower your rank is, the worse your drops are going to be, basically. But the friendlier you play, the better chance you have. I was like, whoa, that makes me think twice about killing my teammates a lot.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Yeah,
I've actually had people in my comments, you know, when I mentioned that on YouTube, they said the same thing. They were like, dang, I'm gonna really have to rethink this. But that's gonna be kind of cool. Also, though, I wonder how many people we're gonna get in the Dark Zone that are just all-out hunters that just go and kill everybody. But you know, they're only gonna be able to do that for so long before everybody starts killing them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, the whole balance in the Dark Zone, like, it's just such a cool concept when you think about it. And because I had all these questions, you know, it's like, all right, well, how are they going to counter people killing everybody? And then they have an answer and a method for every one of those. How it's going to work in the main game is yet to be seen, but I think it could be really balanced and a lot of fun too. Do you think they're going to have any any other game modes, or is it just going to be straight up what we experienced?
Well, I mean, like, I think that in the Dark Zone, I think that there's going to be like event-based stuff. You know, like the army is coming to try to extract, XY piece of gear.
Right.
Right. So instead of killing cleaners or whatever, you have to go rogue. Right. Like,
yeah.
Go rogue against NPCs. Bear in mind.
That would be
to
weird.
Go ahead and like kill these army dudes so that you can get it before this Blackhawk comes to go ahead and take out this like super rare piece of gear.
Right.
I mean that's just an idea that I had. So like I think that there might be event based stuff like that.
That would be kind of cool.
And I think that there might be like some missions that require you to go ahead and go through the Dark Zone.
Yeah, they mentioned something about objectives being inside the Dark Zone.
Yeah.
Like personally, I wouldn't care if this was the only multiplayer like experience
so
that you could have. Yeah, because like.
Well, I mean, it's a
Ubisoft's
AAA game. I don't think I don't think that that's what they're going to do.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, like Watch Dogs, it had some kind of. It didn't have really like all out deathmatch. They had different variations in their multiplayers, and I know a lot of people don't like Watch Dogs, but I enjoyed the game, and its multiplayer was pretty unique in the way they went about it. They only had one mode that was basically like deathmatch. It was kind of like capture the flag, but it still kind of stuck within the realm of realism in that world, and that's kind of what I'm thinking with this game if they're going to do that, because all of these games that they have that are designed as single player experiences or in that kind of I don't know, design, like Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed, they put in multiplayer and it was like co-op, and this game is more like co-op. It's not like you don't have two factions basically warring against each other, other than like, because you're all agents. The only way that it would work out is if they had a multiplayer mode where you did play as one of the factions, but I'm not sure I would really like that.
Honestly, like the way that I could the only way that I could see like a faction separation going down is like with Dark Zone rep.
Yeah.
Right? So, but it's on a slider. Okay?
Right.
So like you go on this side, you're goody two shoes, you always help everybody, you never go rogue, you have like a really good chance to find good loot, right?
Yeah.
But then as it goes down, as you start killing people, right, you pass a certain threshold.
Right.
Where every time you enter the Dark Zone, you're automatically flagged as a rogue agent. Right?
That'd be
and
crazy.
then as it goes down further and further and further, then, other rogue agents are like, hey, anarchy is not the way to do this. We empathize with you killing the weaker agents.
Right.
We're the stronger dogs here. We're the alphas. So you join up with us, and we'll go on like war bands, like an NPC type deal.
That'd be kind of cool.
So like the only way that I could actually see like a faction system working would be something similar to that.
Yeah.
Is like, the strategic homeland division, right? With like X's across it.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Kind of cool. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how they go about it. I mean, I feel like if they try to basically, I don't know, patch this in at the end, like tack it on, I'm not sure I would like that. I would rather them focus more on what they're doing right now, and then maybe eventually, if they wanted to release like a multiplayer mode like that they would just do it in like a DLC, because I don't feel like this game is meant to be played as a PvP type scenario, which is okay. There are other games out there that are designed, for the PvP arena and stuff like that. So what else? Got a new podcast today from Hamish.
We did.
New official The Division podcast.
Our pal Hamish.
Good old Hamish. They talked about guns in the podcast. Guys from Red Storm. Pretty interesting.
They did. Pretty interesting.
They like their guns. I cannot believe how detailed, like, I mean, when they said that they're like in contact with the or like the weapon manufacturers, and they're getting like
to get the CAD drawings.
Yeah, CAD drawings on these guns. I was like, what the crap? This is legit. And they're saying like the guns like actually have like the barrels have rifling in them and things like that. So that was really cool. I think the best thing we got out of that, or one of the best things we got out of that, was the fact that we know how many weapons we can carry in our weapon slots. We're gonna have confirmed, like mark it as known, that we can have a primary, a secondary, and a sidearm. And this is something I want to talk about.
Yes. So my question is to you, since we played the game, right? And
I only had 2 guns. I don't know about you.
I had 3.
Did you have 3? I only had 2.
No, you had the, because I had my.
Oh, my sidearm was okay. My sidearm was that machine pistol. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hold down the button.
Yeah. Well, we had 3.
Right.
Well, somebody just held down Siri for a second.
Sorry, that was me. Go away, Siri.
but no, like we had 3, but like I only used 1.
Right.
I was playing tank, so like I used my shotgun, and when I needed to, sidearm is best arm, so I'd pull out my pistol and I'd pop a couple rounds until I got some more rounds for my shotgun, and then that old thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had that, and then I had an assault rifle, and then a shotgun.
Right.
So.
The reason I thought I only had 2 guns is because the machine pistol appeared to be on my leg instead of on my back, like most of the secondary weapons we've seen on characters. So I don't know. Maybe I can go back and watch some gameplay videos and see exactly.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because Tinks' character, the healer, the one that had the heal, didn't have 3 weapons.
Really?
So that kind of brings into question, what is a secondary weapon?
Yeah. Well, that's what they talked about, like in the podcast. Like they were saying that it depends on what you qualify as a weapon and where that line is. Like, is it a piece of gear, like an equipable gadget, or what else could it be? Because they actually hinted at a incendiary. What did they say? Incendiary device, aka, in my opinion, flamethrower. So, I mean, what else could there be in the secondary slot? Like in my breakdown video, I mentioned like there could be a grappling hook, there could be a stun weapon of some sort, but they did talk about
crazy. I don't think that there's a grappling hook.
I'm pretty sure that they said that that you could repel, unless they took it out.
Well, I'm sure that it's like a quick time event. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Like, I'm sure that it's one of those things. I don't think that you get like a grappling hook like in what do you call it?
Maybe
Lost
Planet.
Not.
You never know. What do you think could be? What do you think could be in it? What would be a good secondary gadget? I mean, weapons, obviously it'll be like, it could be a submachine gun, it could be a machine pistol like I had, it could be pretty much anything, I guess. Like you could have an assault rifle and then maybe have a sniper rifle as your secondary. I don't know what their qualifications are as a secondary. What do you think, other than a weapon, would be in a secondary slot?
Radar jammer. That would be a cool one. A radio. That would be another cool one.
What would the radio be for? Spawns?
Signaling airstrikes, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating. That would be pretty neat.
What about a melee weapon?
Maybe a melee weapon. Yeah.
Like an
maybe
axe or a baseball bat.
Axe. Yeah. Fireman's
Crowbar.
axe. That type of deal.
Wonder if they'll put that in there. That would be kind of fun. I'd like to have that just for the funs of it,
Yeah.
Any kind of melee.
That'd be kind of cool. What else? Maybe like a Jaws of Life type deal. Like something that would help you like dismantle chests.
That could be cool. Like chests
Or,
are locked
like,
up. That would be
open up
really
cars.
cool, actually. Like if you had certain gear that was locked away somewhere and you had to have this piece of equipment to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
That could be kind of cool.
Well, like in Payday 2, right? You would have a guy who his secondary, his special ability was he would get a buzzsaw, like
Yeah.
a straight up angle
Cut it out of the
grinder
vault, right?
to cut out vaults and stuff. So maybe that would be a secondary. C4,
Yeah,
shaped
explosives,
charges,
grenade launchers.
smoke grenade launchers, canister grenade launchers. So like for CS gas, I mean, geez, the possibilities are endless for what they would qualify it to be as a secondary weapon.
Right.
I mean, and also, in order for it to be a secondary weapon, in my book, it would be something that you would call upon in situational times.
Yeah.
Like in a situational sort of moment. So like
right. Almost like a third skill, but not
Yes.
really. It was
a weapon that would function as a third skill. Exactly.
Yeah. That would be kind of cool. I wonder how that would balance out though. Say if you used it, would it recharge or would it just be like done?
I think that it would be ammo based.
Ammo based? Okay.
Yeah, like for example, I mean, except for the radio idea. I mean, the radio idea was just sort of far fetched, to call in an airstrike. But like,
oh, I got another one, Claymore.
Claymore.
Mine.
Yeah, exactly. So like, basically, you would say you use your grenade launcher, your tear gas grenade, right? And everybody's all coughing. You're out of tear gas grenades. You go ahead and you kill a bunch of people. They drop, generic ammo pickup, and you get one more tear gas grenade.
Right.
Reload. You're good to go.
Makes sense. I think that would be cool. I'm trying to think of like different things that could be used as a secondary. I think the secondary slot is a really good idea in terms of basically special equipment. That way it's not super overpowered. It's not that you have 3 guns or like 2 primaries basically and then a sidearm and then you have a special
your 2
item.
skills and
Right. It's a little more realistic. You're not like walking around with all the guns on top of you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like as far as the skills go, like I really like the skills, and I like the fact that you can mod your skills to go ahead and be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like for example, in the first E3 video that we saw, right? They dropped down the roller mine. The roller mine.
I was actually about to bring up the seeker mine.
Dude pops up and air bursts.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have that in the playable demo. It was literally just a little roller mine.
Yeah.
Boom,
well, also in the E3 2014 trailer, you see him at the end when they're fighting that elite. They drop the roller mine. It takes off after him. Before it gets to him, it explodes, shoots like 7 projectiles into the air. They all explode in the air, and then they detonate on the ground all around him. So that was really cool to see all the different kinds of ways you could possibly upgrade this seeker
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about. And then we also saw the Firefly, which is a little drone that you pop out, and then it strobes and flashes.
Yeah.
We also saw the napalm upgrade, or the flamethrower upgrade for the turret. We also saw. We've seen a lot of these skills that they're saying that we haven't seen, but
yeah, there are. You can, if you watch the trailers, they throw in a lot of those little things like that.
Yeah. Did we see the healing scan? It's basically it's pulse, but instead it adds a hot.
It's in the first trailer. I'm pretty sure. You see him standing up next to the car, and she says she's gonna heal or something like that, and you just see his health automatically go up.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought that perk was on the healer, but it was a healing grenade instead. Like they would throw it out to the player. Well, it functions as a
healing grenade or a healing burst.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like the whole user interface too. It looks super sleek, and all of the notifications and the pop-ups and things, like when you throw out that healing grenade or you activate it, it explodes and it's got like green digitalized blocks that blow out from it, and that way you can like obviously tell, hey, that's a healing grenade,
Yeah,
and you send out a pulse and you can see exactly how far out the pulse is going. Just it looks so clean and it's like perfect. And I like how it's up in front of you instead of down on the bottom right or the bottom left. It's really intuitive in that way. That's attention to detail like that is really cool, and I really appreciate that. So, but yeah, flamethrowers, grenades, other abilities. What other kinds of secondaries you think we would you want to see?
Well, aside from the utility secondaries, like I would like to see like, I don't know, like a collapsible ladder. It's something ridiculous like that, you know.
My grappling hook. You're taking my idea.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want like a Batman-esque grappling hook unless we get to the top of these buildings.
No, I'm talking about like a real one, like in Battlefield Hardline. They actually have like a grapple. It's like a cannon, you know. I mean, it's pretty big, and it would basically function as a weapon in terms of size.
Can you imagine shooting a grappling hook into somebody?
Dude, that would be awesome. That would be legit. Massive, do that. Put that gun in. Actually, Redstorm, put that in as a weapon. That would be sweet. Oh shoot, I thought of another. Well, I want snipers to be able to function as a secondary. Like, I do not want to have to run around with a sniper rifle as my primary weapon, because that would just be stupid. Basically, I want to be able to have, whether you have to swap out a submachine gun or whatever as your primary and your sniper as your secondary, either or. But I want those to function as a secondary. I'm not sure if like any gun can be put in that slot or not. If it's gonna be like overkill in Call of Duty, where you could, you know, equip any primary in your secondary slot. So
I hope not.
Because yeah, well, I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to be able to carry around 2 light machine guns.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm out of ammo with this one. All right, switch to my other one.
Yeah.
What do you think will count as a secondary, or what do you want to count as a secondary?
Well, sniper rifle, stun gun, taser, you know, that type of deal. I mean, that can also be a sidearm.
Right.
Like a keyhole shotgun, something that'll blow the door, like the wall off of, you know, or the door off of its hinges, that type of thing.
Right. So you think a shotgun would function as a primary gun?
Yeah, I mean, a shotgun is a general purpose weapon.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, honestly, like in the military, a shotgun is like a general purpose weapon. You know, you'd have a rifle, I guess, but, you know, close quarters combat, you're going to be using a shotgun.
Right.
You know, so like I could see that being a primary.
It could be either or.
Yeah, it could be a primary, it could be a secondary, but I would put it as a primary, especially the fact that, like, the way that this game is set up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of alleyways. You know, you expecting a lot of close quarters combat.
Right. Yeah.
So
you don't expect it to be like long range. Like they were talking about in the podcast. He was like, you're not gonna see guns in there that shoot miles.
A mile.
You know, you're not gonna have like super high powered rifles. Now you might see like a couple of them, you know, like as super rare weapons, but you're not gonna be like, oh, I found a Barrett. Oh, I found an intervention. I found, you know, like they're not going to be like littered all over the world in terms, you know, like same thing with rocket launchers. Rocket launchers just wouldn't fit in this world.
I wouldn't consider a rocket launcher being a secondary either.
No. Yeah, no. I honestly, I don't see why a rocket launcher would even be in the game.
Because they have to have one.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess if they really want to fit in with everybody else, but I wouldn't care if there wasn't one in it. But like you said, there probably will be, which is fine. I just want, if they do, I want a reason to actually use it instead of just shooting it at people. Like,
yeah, carrying a rocket launcher around is stupid.
Right.
Like,
I would want a reason to carry them around. If
anti-vehicle.
Exactly. Like if the cleaners have a Jeep or a Hummer, like a Hummer setup with, you know, they've captured a military Hummer, then I want to be like, okay, this area of the Dark Zone or this area of the world map has a Hummer. We need to get a rocket launcher and go out and take them out because they've got some good loot over there. That would be the only reason I would see for a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher.
Yeah. I feel like it would be like an instance-based weapon or like a special weapon.
Like a pickup.
You know? Yeah, like a pickup.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take an inventory slot because you'd use it for that specific instance and then throw it away.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that'd be a good situation for it.
I mean, like, I would rather the Division be less overkill, more intimate.
Yeah, same here. That's the way I felt with it. It felt really unique and personal. Like I felt like I was. kind of cheesy, but I felt connected to my character because I could control it so well, and because it just worked so well. It was like, okay, this game is fun. It doesn't feel like I'm just in this game, just like playing as this character. You almost feel like you are that character.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Absolutely. There was actually towards the end. I mean, we haven't really touched on how much we educated people in our little playthrough, but we owned the map. No other person got exfil.
We imagine someone taking someone over their knee and just literally spanking them, because we extracted like 3 times, or we could have extracted like 3 times, and no one else ever extracted. And that's just how the team play worked out in it. That was the best part about it.
Absolutely,
Another thing I want to talk about in the podcast that they touched on briefly was weapon degradation. Now, this was something very interesting because the way Hamish dodged the question, or it sounded like he dodged the question, because they straight up ask, is there weapon degradation? That is a straightforward question. You know what it means.
You know Kretek is pretty much straight up like asking that, going straight for the throat.
Oh yeah, she knows exactly. And then Hamish is like, and then the guys were like, oh, is that like weapons breaking? It's like, Hamish, you are a sly guy, and I'm waiting for this to come to light, because they started talking about the weapon appearance changing in terms of like wear and tear on a gun.
It's years. I mean, but they hinted at it being the Snowdrop engine going ahead and doing that. Like, they were talking about how there's really interesting things in the Snowdrop engine that allows the barrel to overheat, you know, and burn out.
But he didn't say that it was. He said it would just start glowing. But the thing is, the way he dodged it, I think there will be weapon degradation, or they're at least toying around with weapon degradation. And because it's an RPG, it would make sense, because, like I mentioned in my video, I mean, I'm playing The Witcher, and my weapons, degrade over time, and I feel like that would be something that would fit in the world of the Division. I mean, you would have to, upkeep your weapons, because if you use them constantly over and over and over and over for, however long this game goes on, you're going to need to maintain them, because they will start, breaking. What do you think?
Well, like, I would say that weapons will break.
Yeah.
I'm going off of a gut feeling. I'm going to say that weapons will break.
Weapon degradation confirmed. Not really, but that's what I'm going to say too. I'm going to say that there is weapon degradation in it, because of the way he dodged that question. I was like, dude, you basically told us that that's in it.
Yeah, it's a gut feeling.
But they don't want to tell us is the thing. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with there being weapon degradation in it, because then that would make sense for your armory in your base of operations. You'd be like, oh man, my gun is breaking. I need to go fix it. You know? And
I mean, I don't think that it's going to be like the standard durability.
Right.
Just by the way that he was like being dodgy. I think that they're going to do something unique.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think it'll be? What do you want it to be?
I
have some ideas, but
what I want it to be is I want scratches and crap on my gun. I mean, that's something that's pretty decently easy for the the designers to do. I mean, I do it as a graphic designer every single day.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and increase like a bevel. Increase like the surface area of this scratch. That type of thing. Just on like a little slider, which is actually based off of like the Snowdrop engine, how the Snowdrop engine has those sliders. So I think that that's something that could happen. So like instead of it just being numbers on a screen, 85 out of 100, 13 out of 100, the weapon's about to break.
Right.
Like,
it's gonna be a visual representation.
Yeah, like you'll be able to like go in your inventory and look at your gun and just like see scratches all over it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Also,
not necessarily like crap falling off of it,
Right.
And
just it looks like it's been used.
Yeah.
So like
exactly.
So you're basically saying like, so would you repair it, or what would happen? Because if you go repair it, what are you gonna do? Give it a new paint job to where it looks better?
I mean, I assume so. I would assume that, like, you know, in Grand Theft Auto, you drive a car around
Gets beat
and
up.
it gets beat up, and then immediately go into the shop and like beep beep beep,
Yeah,
beep, beep,
repairs
and
it.
then like brand new, right?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like that's where they're gonna go with it.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of.
think that would be cool because then that sticks to the realism, and you're basically like inspecting your gun, and you can see, okay, this gun's got scratches, or like the gun could start jamming. You know, you could be firing, and then say it jams for like a split second, and it's like, I don't know, maybe it gives you a quick like a prompt to tap, you know, square or whatever to you know, clear the jam. I don't know, something like that. You know, instead of it being like you're saying, just a stat like, all right, your gun is at 74% durability.
Mm-hmm.
In-game things like that could be cool. Sticking with the whole the real world. What do you think?
I think that would be awesome. I think
You
it would
do?
be awesome that, like, yeah, absolutely. Like, if your weapon durability is at like 5 out of 100, right? And you're sitting there and you drop your clip and you're trying to reload and something gets caught and you see your guy like trying to, like, you know, in inconsistent animation. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Like, an inconsistent animation. One time it'll just jam right in and it'll work, you
Yeah.
know. Then the next, like, another time, you know, it's like dude's like sitting there trying to like get the clip in,
Right.
you know, and he can't get the magazine inside of the weapon.
Yeah.
You know,
That
like,
that
I
would
could
be
see
pretty
that.
cool because then it would force you to think about when you go into like a dark zone or you go into a mission, you'd be like, okay, let me look at my guns first. Let me make sure everything is ready to go. And instead of just like, all right, let's just go, no big deal, it would actually make you sit and think, okay, I need to prepare for this mission, like physically inside this game, or else I'm gonna be screwed. Like, yeah, my gun's got some scratch, you know, got a lot of scratches on it, but I'm gonna go try. And then he gets in there and tries to reload his gun, and his gun's jamming all the time, and
Or like you
know.
have a misfire, you know, like you,
Yeah.
and then he has to like clear the breach. You know, he's
Yeah.
got to like clear that misfire. You know, that type
that
of
would
thing.
be cool.
Like, I mean, like I fired a whole bunch of weapons in my day.
Yeah.
You know, and those things happen.
Right.
Even if you clean and you lube your weapon and you make sure lube your weapon, even if you know make sure that your weapon is like clean as a whistle, you know.
Right.
There's those times where you pull up your M4 and you're expecting this round to go off, and shitty ass NATO rounds, it's just clink.
Yeah, nothing
You have to
happens.
clear it, clink clink. You know, it's like
Yeah.
so as the weapon becomes dirtier, you know, I can imagine accuracy falling. That would be something really cool. Is
Oh,
if
yeah.
like accuracy would start falling, you know,
Yeah.
because there's residue, gunpowder, cordite buildup on the inside of the rifle, you know, the rifling. Yeah, like just the difference between cold firing and hot firing a weapon. You know, like I could see those possibilities being something that the programmers, or not the programmers, the developers wouldn't have to really put a lot of time in. You know, to go ahead and
Exactly.
make it like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
it
I
would
mean,
be an algorithm that basically says, you know, hey, you know, been using the weapon for this many hours without cleaning it or taking it to the workshop, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Accuracy is going to go down by this factorable amount. Of course, it would be a random number because there's no way for them to say, you know, every 10 shots it's going to go down by 1%. You know?
Right.
And it shouldn't have a visual representation. I don't think that it should have like a, you know, negative number on the side.
Yeah.
You know, it should have sort of a
You should be able to
feel.
look at the gun, yeah, and feel
Yeah.
what's going on with it. Well, then,
Yeah.
well, then that just makes the gun that more personal to you. You're like,
Exactly.
all right, I've used this gun a lot, and this gun, it fires like this, so I know it needs to be worked on. That would be really, really cool. I think if they're listening, they should try
Yeah.
try some of this. Can't talk.
Yeah,
try
exactly.
some of these things
try that out.
I think that would be cool. There'd be a good. I mean, you have to balance it, obviously. I'd like to see how
Yeah.
they do that, but because I wouldn't want to have to be fixing my gun constantly. You're like, oh my god,
Well-
I've been shooting this gun for an hour, and I need to go clean it again. But
Yeah, I mean,
keep
of
it
course,
fun,
like,
keep it real. There's a good
there's
balance.
there's the willing suspension of disbelief.
Exactly.
You know, like if I'm really enjoying the game and, you know, I've spent like 40 hours playing the game, just get the game first night. You and me, we buy our Red Bull and crap. We're running around for 40 hours, and we haven't repaired our weapons because we're just running around having a great time. And then all of a sudden, like a misfire.
Clink,
I wouldn't.
Click. What crap?
I wouldn't say to myself, man, I fired this weapon like thousands of rounds through this weapon. Oh God, I don't know why it's not working.
Right.
Why didn't it not work like 5 hours before this, or that type of thing. Like, I wouldn't sit there and like crunch the numbers to go ahead and say, oh well, this is totally unrealistic. Throw the game away. It's a willing suspension to disbelief. So like, honestly, like they could make it so that the weapon sort of degrades and then sort of breaks down a little bit, but doesn't. It doesn't have to be like 100% real.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's
real,
it's a role playing
but still
game too.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a role playing game too. So it doesn't have to be. Christ, Final Fantasy VII, you could summon a meteor out of your ass. Yeah. So like, it doesn't have to be 100%
realistic. Yeah. Exactly. I think they're going to do a good job at balancing it. I mean, what we played obviously was a ton of fun. I mean,
oh God, yeah,
like so much fun. I just want to go play it again. Like, can't wait till the beta. Yeah. Well,
me either, man.
We're getting towards the end of the podcast. Any final thoughts? Other than this game is freaking fun in the 20 minutes that we played. I mean, I want everyone to keep a realistic expectation. I mean, I'm not saying by any means that it's going to be the best game ever. I had a lot of fun, but this game has a long ways to go, basically, till launch. So anything could happen. Stay realistic, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But, the part of the fun of our podcast is that we can go ahead and we can speculate. I'm not trying to go ahead and, ignite the fires of the hype train, and make sure that everybody's stocked up on their waddles of bottle. Like, I'm trying to, like...
Get ready for your bottle caps.
I'm trying to go
Crazy
ahead
old Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to go ahead and, like, think about the possibilities in sort of a realistic sense.
Exactly.
So...
Well, exactly. That's what's fun about it. We get to talk about what we want, what we think could be in it, and we've actually played it.
But one last thing before we go, I would like to personally thank Antoine and Yannick and Hamish and Craig,
the guys that we met.
Yeah,
and everybody else on the dev team that we don't know.
Well, everybody else on the dev team, of course, but like, I would like to personally thank those 4 people because they made my experience with this game something that I haven't had since World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Going to the Activision studios, going to Blizzard.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, this game, it's more than a game now. It's not just, I went here and I played it. It was an experience, and then I left. It was... We got to see and talk to these people that are working on this game and interacting
are just
with
as
the
passionate about it as us.
I know. They're so excited about it. And seeing them excited about it makes me that much more excited about it. Like, this game could come out and just suck balls, and I would still love it because I know how much passion they have for it. And I would play it because they love it.
You have to be objective. You have to be objective. We have to, like, actually say, hey, this game does suck balls, but I fucking love it.
Exactly. And I would, too. I would be like, Antoine, this game sucks, but I love it. It's just, I love it because you guys are, you put so much work into it. And, I mean, like, I give it 2 out of 10, but I give you 10 out of 10. That's how I would go about it,
Yeah. So... Yeah, I could just see that, Hamish 2 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, game 2 out of 10. Like,
and we should do that when the game comes out. Give reviews, and then everybody we've met give them separate reviews.
Yeah. But I just want to thank them, and I want to say that I'm really, really stoked about this game, and I really want to thank you, Caleb, for going and enduring me through E3, as well as giving me many hugs and hand holdings.
That was part of it. I mean, I have to thank you too for giving me a place to stay, and I also would like to thank Hamish and Yannick and Antoine and Craig because same with you. They made that experience. I mean, I could have gone and played every single game on the E3 floor, but I wanted to talk to them instead. I wanted to hear, about what they were doing with the game, what they were doing with the community. I consider them friends now. They're so cool. They're not just like, oh, they're game developers. They're my friends, and I can't wait till next E3 or whenever we could possibly see them again.
We are fated to meet.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you for making this game and being awesome people in general. And with that, I'm going to have to shut this show down. Thank you for watching or listening.
Make sure you watch all of our previous episodes.
Yeah, watch all of our previous episodes. Check me out on YouTube, Boomslang Gaming. Check out Chivlet on Twitter. He does graphic stuff, and he's really, really good at it. You need any kind of graphics made, he can do it. Check him out at Chivlet Actual. And this has been episode 7 of the Division Gamecast. And until next time, I don't even know how to do an outro. Bye.
Goodbye.